What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my review of the MVP Inertia distance driver. Finally, we get some distance drivers from MVP. I'm sure all of you MVP throwers out there are super happy about that. I was excited to check this guy out once it got released for sure, and I'm really happy I did. It's a really great flyer, extremely fun to throw. It's big distance, and I'm digging it quite a bit so far. This disc was also released right around the same time as the Tesla, which is around the same speed. The Tesla is much more overstable, though. It's more of like a faster, more stable volt. This one's kind of like a faster, more understable volt for me. In design, it kind of looks like a flattened volt. I'll show you what I mean in a second here. First, I'll give you a look at this guy. It's got that beautiful neutron plastic. It's really easy to see out there, whether it's in the grass or in the woods. Just a beautiful color for a disc. Very nice there. One of the great things about MVP, they have this really nice bright day glow colors and makes it easy to spot your disc. There's the weight, 167 grams for this one, just pretty much right where I like drivers. I like drivers in the high 160s for the most part. They just fly nice for me. So there's your look at the rim design. You can see the gyro rim itself is pretty pronounced and large on this disc. See how it protrudes quite a bit. I'll throw it up next to my one of my volts here, so you can get a feel for the difference. See how it protrudes a little bit more. Let me make sure this looks alright. So you can kind of see here that it kind of just looks very similar, but almost like you took a volt and just kind of squished it into a thinner, wider disc. Is what it looks like to me. It's sharper, and yeah, it's really nice. It's possible that the Inertia is supposed to be more of like a high-speed amp. I only tested 1 amp in my life so far. I've only ever had 1 in the bag. I tested it for a little while, and I didn't really care for it. I didn't find it to be very different than my volts. I think the one I had was more stable than typical for sure. It definitely. I've heard a lot of people say that the amp is a really understable disc and easy to get turned over and stuff. I don't think the one I tested was very typical, but so it's possible that the Inertia is supposed to be more of a high-speed amp or so. But for me, it basically flies like a more understable or like lightweight kind of broken-in volt, but just farther. This thing definitely has some danger of flipping over completely. When you don't want it to, for sure. It's definitely got that understability to it, but really what I was using it for most, and what I will continue to use it for, it went straight in the bag. It's a really fun disc and definitely useful for distance throws, but where it really shines is a hyzer flip. This is one of the best big distance hyzer flip discs I've ever thrown in my life. You rip it on that nice hyzer line and it just pops up. It'll ride out to the right, and with that increased speed, it'll still have enough generally to come back after the whole, MVP kind of forward penetrating fade. It'll still kind of finish back in and just get you big distance. I've had some really tremendous throws with this thing, both in field testing and in some rounds. Just a easy flyer. I really like the way this thing flies. It's great. It's a great disc. It still kind of has the same flaw I kind of noticed with all MVP discs, to be honest, in that for me, I don't find that any of them fly very well with a tailwind. Something about the way the gyro technology interacts with the tailwind, I feel like every time I try to throw an MVP disc in the tailwind, it kind of air bumps a lot and just gets slapped down. I always kind of assume they're going to be great for tailwind because they have so much glide. But they really don't end up working out that well. The Inertia was no different. Even with that high-speed, understable kind of flight that you think would be great for tailwind, it seemed to get knocked down pretty easy. I'm not really sure what is up with that. So one of the few really flaws that I find in the MVP system is that I just don't have good luck with them in tailwind. The Inertia is no different. But even into a slight headwind, for hyzer flips, this thing just bombs. I love this disc. It's a really great flyer. So for low wind conditions, maybe a slight head or crosswind. Totally doable disc, and just really great flyer. But ultimately, hyzer flips, just amazing hyzer flip disc. I'll be using it for that for sure. It went straight in the bag, and definitely enjoying it quite a bit. Also kind of powered down, more flatter throws. I tend to throw on a slight hyzer almost all the time, especially for distance, just because I feel like I have a little bit less chance of accidentally flipping, and it's just how my body lines up. I feel more comfortable throwing a hyzer. So even, you know, pretty close to flat, you know, maybe a little bit powered down, this thing gets big distance. But even though, like I was telling you, it kind of rides out to the right, and then, or, you know, this is backwards because I'm holding it with my left hand. But, you know, even though it kind of turns and rides out and then comes back, you still, you know, it still maintains a pretty straight flight overall. It's not like one of those discs that flies really hard right and then comes really far back left, and, you know, it's kind of more of a winding S-type shot. It really will flip up, ride, and then carry mostly straight, finish back, you know, start coming back, the fade will carry it straight again, and then it'll finish back in. So ultimately, for the speed and distance you get out of it, still a very accurate disc. So yeah, really excited about the new distance drivers from MVP. I think they're great plastic, great molds, they're flying nice. So definitely recommend you guys go out there and check one out. And if you do, let me know what you think of it. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Cheers.